We are live. What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the show. We appreciate y'all so very much. Anybody that's coming in at this time, thanks so much for spending time with us. Anybody that's watching this on the replay, thank you. We really do appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. What is going on, Jake? How are you?
I am good, enjoying this rain. How about you?
I'm good so far. It's actually pretty nice out today. It's not too
Yeah.
windy. It's been crazy here
I think I
in
checked the
Vegas.
temperature earlier. It was like 40 something. Yeah, 40 something, I think.
Yeah, it's
You,
been nice. Not too bad. I mean, it's chilly. It's been chilly, but nothing too crazy.
yeah.
Um, so we're 2-9. Probably gonna be 2-10 today. uh, just because I mean we don't have LeBron. Anthony Davis is sick. He is at shoot around, so it looks like he might play. But if he's
yeah.
really that sick, who knows how much he's gonna play? Um,
Yeah.
we're in a bad spot. Um,
I
and
mean,
like
tell me about it. I mean, that's an understatement, though. Like, remember when we were like 0-2 and we were talking about if we get 2-10? We're
yeah,
here. We're
yeah,
pretty much here.
it's
Like,
crazy. It is like and like the here's my concern though is that like at what point is it too late and you just don't do anything? You know what I mean? Like so many people want to trade, so many people want us to make some upgrades, make some changes. But like, if we're say LeBron is out for, you know, 10 games or whatever, um, if we're 2 and or let's say 4 and 16 through 20 games, our season's over.
yeah.
Like what's the point of doing anything? Like unless you just like a trade comes up that you really really like and you're like, okay, like these are pieces we could have for the next several years, right?
Yeah.
you know but other than that, like there's no real point in just doing a trade just to do a trade if your season's over. Like if we like, and that's kind of why I feel like we need to we need to start winning some games.
Yeah.
Like because if we don't, then like eventually you reach a point where it's like, all right, might as well just write off the season. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, because it's gonna take a huge like player trade just to really turn our season around. I mean, right now we can't like trading for like your standard good role player. No, too late for that. Too late. If we were gonna do something like that, we should have done it in the beginning of the season. Because
Yeah,
right now, I agree with you. Well, you've been saying this all season. It's not there's not a trade out there that's going to come and save our season per se. Like, you know what I mean? Unless it is a caliber of like KD or something like that, something crazy. You know what I
yeah,
mean? But even with that, you have an injury. I don't want to say injury prone AD, but it's starting to get like that. You know what I mean? It's an injury concern AD, I should say. You have an aging LeBron. I don't. I don't know. I'm to the point now where like, and this as crazy as this sounds, we should really look at blowing the team up, like completely. I mean, once we can, you know what I mean. We can't do
a
it
lot
right
of people
now
want that.
completely, but I'm not, because I don't know if this roster has not proven that they could get it done.
Yeah,
Like they're not playing hard games. They're not playing impossible opponents to beat. You know what I mean? Like they're not playing like warrior type caliber like teams every single game. You know what I mean? I just
well, I mean, we're gonna see this next, because this next stretch, even without LeBron, this next stretch is supposed to be easy for us. Like we should be rattling off some wins here. I mean, we play the Spurs 3 times, play the Kings tonight. Like we haven't played an under 500 team. Like I know the Warriors are under 500 right now, but they
yeah,
weren't opening night. You know what I mean? They were. This is before, and they looked good the first couple games. It was like
yeah,
this back half they looked bad. We got them at like the worst time. So outside of that, like we haven't played like any like even middle of the pack teams. Like we've played Utah twice, who they have the best record in the West still, and are just doing nothing but beating playoff teams and beating
yeah,
teams that they look really good. We've played the Cavs, we played Denver twice, like, and we beat them. We beat the Pelicans. Like we've beaten two good teams,
yeah,
but like it's just we haven't had an opportunity to like, because a lot of people are like, I've seen a lot of people think that we're worse or just as bad this year as we were last year. And I still don't buy it because last year we had like the second or third easiest schedule of any team like last year. I mean, you think about it, like the first like 15 games of the season were nothing but like under 500 teams outside of like a couple here and there. For the most part, we had one of the easiest schedules of any teams last season, and we were 5-5 at this point in the juncture, right? And so this time, at least we're playing. I think we'll beat the Spurs at least 2 times. We play them like 3 times in like 5 days. I think we should beat them at least twice, even without LeBron. So if we do that, there's 4 wins. Like the problem is we're not staying afloat, and that's the problem. Like we need to get afloat to where we can ride it out until we can find a good trade because there's already reports that like the organization is split on if they should make a deal or if they shouldn't. A lot of people, half of like the people in the organization don't believe that LeBron and AD are it anymore and that, we should rebuild and save our picks and save our assets. And then the other half thinks that like, if we put the right guys around them, we could still win and da-da-da-da. And but that's not a good sign. Like if that's true, again, it's just reports. Like you never really know what's accurate or not. But if that is true, that's not good. Because then that means like like I said, what's going to happen is we're going to be like 2-15 or something like that, or 4-15, and they're just going to say there's no point in doing anything because we would literally have to, at that point, we'd have to win like 15 to 20 straight games just to even have a chance to get into the play-in. And I mean, some circumstances happen. You get a couple things that fall your way. I mean, like I said, I mean, if you were able to do a deal for like the Spurs, do the Spurs deal, and then like let's say you go get Josh Richardson and Jakob Poeltl, right? And then you go and maybe move Russell Westbrook to the Hornets, go get like a Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward, and now you got like 4 or 5 guys to really kind of turn your season around. Maybe then, but you got to keep in mind too is that like guys have to gel together. Guys have to like learn each other. Granted, it's easier when it's a bunch of role guys than it is when it's like a bunch of stars. Like so like for example, like it'll probably be harder for Kyrie to come and or let's say we trade for like DeMar DeRozan or something like that, right? Like it would be harder for him to figure it out with all the stars than like Josh Richardson, Jakob Poeltl, like guys like that, because they're already like second, third, fourth, fifth options. Where it's just a completely different type of situation where you're going from like first or second option to like now third option. Like it's a big adjustment plus LeBron and stuff. So like all of that has to be taken into account too. Just
not to mention, let's talk about our defense. We have the defense that we have. Yeah, we've slipped in the last few games, but we have the defense that we have right now because of the roster that we have. So it's like, you know what I mean? I feel like if you just take that, and like you said the other night, a large part of it is because of AD. But if you just take that and blow that up completely, that is one of the downsides of it. You know what I mean? You start replacing players, and I'm not talking about the guys like I don't know, like Gabriel, like not, you know what I mean? Because like his production could be, I'm not necessarily talking about the role guys because their production will be replaced. But that's that's tough. Like you said, it does take chemistry. You know what I mean? You have to kind of start from ground zero, if you will. And we should honestly come out against the Kings, and we should be able to beat the Kings. I don't understand.
If we have Anthony Davis tonight, Russ and Anthony Davis should be enough to beat the Kings. Like. So
alone.
We should be able to beat the Kings today.
Because Russ and Anthony Davis were almost enough to be whatever team we just played when LeBron wasn't in. But
Utah.
Yeah.
The thing is though too is that like also speaking of LeBron or Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis are actually one of like the best duos in the league. Statistically speaking, they're up there. Like the pick and roll between those two are incredible. Actually, LeBron and Anthony Davis together are terrible this season, and it's a lot of it is just Like, and I was explaining this on one of
They
my
were
live.
good the bubble year, but
Yeah, well, it's just no. The problem is LeBron isn't hitting the pick and roll hard enough. So like
yeah,
you already have a disadvantage when you don't have a small to do the pick and roll, because like when you're doing LeBron and Davis pick and roll,
yeah,
usually a big is guarding LeBron and a big is guarding Davis. You know, it might be slight size, but it's not like somebody 6 foot, somebody 7 foot, right?
yeah,
So you already have a disadvantage on that pick and roll because now they can
yeah.
just switch. You know, like
Well,
so
yeah,
whoever's guarding Anthony Davis can now switch and guard LeBron because it's a big and a big. But usually what happens is on that pick and roll, when
yeah,
Davis comes to pick, you come around, you're supposed to hit that corner, hit that turnaround. And the
yeah,
problem is LeBron isn't hitting that turnaround. The reason Russ and AD are looking so great and why you see every time Russ and AD run that pick and roll, it's a bucket, because Russ hits that. So he's coming, AD sets the pick, Russ comes around and he hits attacking to the basket. So now the defender either has to go and roll with Anthony Davis. So then
yeah.
Russ has got an easy layup, or
Exactly.
they have to come out and help and defend Russ, and then Russ is able to just lob it up. And then that's why you keep seeing Anthony Davis just getting these easy dunks, right?
Yeah,
And so, like, that is something that that I think will be beneficial that we should see today. A lot of Russ and Davis. Russ and Davis are really good operating in that two-man game.
yeah.
And LeBron isn't, which is surprising because LeBron's had more time to play with Anthony Davis. Him and
Well, he
Anthony
isn't
Davis.
right now. Like
Yeah, it's just because he's not.
historically and statistically, he has been, but not like
Yeah,
at the moment. Like
it is because he's not hitting that pick and roll. He's not attacking and being aggressive off of the turn. Rather, where Russ is just downhill constantly, right?
well, yeah, that's Russ. He's always aggressive, always gonna, look
Yeah,
to attack.
but that's what you need in that position. So I
Yeah.
think that really helps too. And that's kind of why, like, I even made a video today over on, as it stands Lakers. And I was talking about we should really go take a look at Hassan Whiteside, because I think with him, one, you can have AD run the four, but with him, you can operate a lot of the same plays with Whiteside that you can with Anthony Davis, because a lot of that, like you could have Whiteside set those same screens, and then with Russ and LeBron hitting hard, or when Schroeder comes back, do the same thing with Schroeder, because Schroeder will hit those turns hard. So you could
Yeah.
have Schroeder and Westbrook hit those turns, and you're going to get a ton of easy lobs to Whiteside. Not just that,
Yeah.
but you get rebounding and shot blocking. Like the Lakers need to do something.
Yeah.
And I
But
just
even
think,
if it
like,
is just like changing up the game, like you said, like focus on
exactly.
what's working right now. If the pick and roll with AD and Russ are working, let's do that. Let's stick
Yeah,
to that.
the problem
And
is you
it
can only
is. It
do
is.
it. The problem is you can only do it so much for teams just go, okay,
Well, no,
like
of course. I'm not saying like
Russ
run
is
the
looking
pick and
for a
roll
lot.
every play. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, of
like
course. Like teams are just gonna build a defensive scheme just to stop it. But
yeah,
like,
just to stop that. Like, but I mean, in general, it's just you know, and these are like the little things that most people don't recognize or pay attention to through the scope of the games. A lot of people see like LeBron, like, oh, LeBron got 30, 20, and 20. He's great. He needs help, but it's like,
yeah,
yes, he's putting up great stats, but a lot of the important things that LeBron has always done, he's not doing this year, and it's hurting us. Like, and like I said, it's not his like skill set. It's just him. It's the IQ plays. Like
yeah,
LeBron knows when I go off of that screen, I need to attack that hard, and he's not. LeBron knows I shouldn't hold the ball for 40 seconds and shoot and just
yeah.
jack the
No,
three. Like a lot of that stuff is a problem. LeBron, I will say though, did look much better last game before he got hurt, of course, and his shot started to fall.
yeah,
So hopefully, whenever he comes back, hopefully that continues and that continues to be a trend. Because if that does, then that could be huge for the Lakers, because the Lakers really need multiple guys that could spread the floor and
yeah,
shoot, and that'll open up more for LeBron, because now teams got to play more tight, and LeBron's just so big and strong and fast and athletic that
yeah,
he's just gonna blow by you. which he's already doing, but it just makes it so much easier when I have to defend you up tight because I can't let you get your shot off. Because if I keep space, you're just going to elevate over and knock down the shot, which teams are doing right now. They're keeping that space because they know like LeBron's going to kill me off the dribble. So if I can keep enough space, he's not going to go off the dribble. I'll just give him that shot. And LeBron's shooting it, which is why he was 0 of 15 before he made that 1-3, and then the next game he started knocking down shots. So I'm hoping he's starting to get back into the flow of things.
Let's hope.
Yeah, real quick, say hi to some people. What's going on, Snorlax? What is up, guys? How are we doing today? Well, I'm good. What about you, Jake?
I'm good.
Good. My damn. What's going on? Salute, SM. Salute. Patrick Beverly, Leonard Walker, TBJ, Gabe, and AD are starting tonight. Thoughts? Not the ideal starting lineup, but
I can tell you what I don't like. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying I'll take it. I'll take what we can get. What were you gonna say?
No, I don't know. I'm not liking Pat Bev this season. It's not. Here's the thing, though. I'm a Pat Bev fan. I think he's a great player. I just don't think he's playing as like that really great this season, at all.
He's been disappointing.
No, he really has, him and Nunn. But I would rather see Nunn start over Pat. But
the only reason I want Nunn to start, them to start playing Nunn, especially with these games that LeBron and AD are out, is because hopefully you can get him to wake up. Because I still think
we need him. We need him to. Him.
I still think he's in there. He's just, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just he's in his own headspace. But the last time he started, or not the last time, the time before the last time, when LeBron and everybody was out, he gave us 18. So I'm hoping that maybe if you give him a couple more starts without the big name guys, maybe he could kind of start getting into the flow of things, start getting his shot to fall and stuff. Because he's been so disappointing. He has looked so bad. And
he really has.
And I was so high on Kendrick Nunn.
I agree with Nunn over Pat because it's at this point, Pat, I think that's all you're going to get from Pat for this season. I don't think that he's going to
defense,
you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't think he's going to put up big numbers for you. But Nunn, on the other hand, he's shown you in spurts that he can go get you 20. You know what I mean? He can go get you 20. So I just think that like you said, if it's a confidence booster, whatever, wake up, a little rattle in the cage or whatever. But I just don't, you know what I mean? Pat at this point is not, no. He's not going to score for you. And that's what we need. We need people to put points on the board. And Pat's not going to do that.
Yeah, who are going to be able to do those things. Lakers should seriously consider trading Anthony Davis. Problem is, I don't think it makes a lot of sense this season. Maybe this off season, if you could find the right package, take a shot. I just think right now, what do you what package are you going to get? Most teams, they're not going to give you the farm for Anthony Davis right now. Or you get some teams that disappoint, and you'd be in a different position. Plus Anthony Davis has been he's been our best player. It doesn't look like it, but he really has. He's tied with Giannis for overall defensive rating. So he's playing as a defensive player of the year. He's still giving you 24. What are you going to get that's going to make us that much better? Or even semi-neutral. I don't see a lot of teams. I definitely want to explore some Anthony. So I explored a Celtics Davis trade today. I want to explore a couple more just for fun. But in reality, I don't really think the Lakers should trade Anthony Davis unless you just get some too good to be true offer where it's just something insane, whatever. Let's say the Warriors are it's not working. We'll give you, Klay Thompson, Kuminga, Wiseman, and and Moody for Anthony
Jordan.
Davis. Jordan Poole. Something crazy like that. And it's then probably do it. I'm not saying that they ever would or anything like that, but I'm saying unless you get a too good to be true, or Kevin Durant, the Nets are hey, we'll trade you Kevin Durant for Anthony Davis. If you get something like that, I think you got to do it. But unless something like that happens,
at this point, you'd almost have to get a full team supporting cast. If you just name the Warriors their whole entire supporting cast,
basically their entire bench unit right now.
Well, yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
It is, but has the Hornets trade ever been on the table? Not like the Pacers. The only deal that's
Just
ever that
talks,
we
but not
that we
really like
know, yeah.
rumors.
So we know that the Hornets and the Lakers have talked for sure, and that
Yeah,
they've like worked out, like tried to work out 3-team deals and stuff like that. But actually putting like here's a final deal essentially.
an
Uh,
offer.
the
Yeah, no.
the only deals that have ever been like legit that we know were on the table were or the Pacers deal, and then at one point the Jazz deal, and then at one point the Nets deal if Kevin Durant ended up getting traded, which Kevin Durant didn't end up getting traded, so that put an end to that. Outside of that, there like everything else is just talks basically. Even the Spurs thing has just been talks. So yeah, to me, the Utah trade was the best on the table, but Danny Ainge traded the main piece to Detroit. He traded the main piece to Detroit for like a bag of chips, like which is crazy. Like, look, even if he didn't want to trade Bogdanovich to the Lakers, like he had a better deal with the Suns, and I think it was like Miami. Like he had better offers than what he gave up. That's why it doesn't make any sense. I don't
I
know
don't think
why.
he. I don't think he cared because if he was trying to tank, then I mean he's doing. Yeah,
He's doing a terrible job
hasn't
tanking.
succeeded of it. But if
Yeah.
he was trying to say, that's probably why he didn't care what he got in return. But like as you see now, like they're one of the best teams in the league right now.
Yeah, I mean they're
So
killing
like, yeah,
it. Any news on Kyrie and what the Nets are going to do? So right now, so we got a report from Woj today. So Kyrie has met with Joe Tsai,
Adam.
obviously Adam Silver, and then basically met with everybody. Talked about it, but according to Woj, there is no official like date, like return date for him, and that it's very unlikely that he's supposed to return for the Lakers on Sunday and the Kings on Tuesday. Um, I still don't think he comes back. I really don't. I mean, LeBron made that tweet, which I thought was interesting because LeBron doesn't just tweet
What did he
stuff.
say?
He said, off the top of my head, something along the lines of like, basically, Kyrie needs to play. He basically said, I told you guys where I stood. I still stand by that.
Which I listened to by the way, and I was like, okay. I was like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing much you can say. You know what I mean? I was just surprised because like normally LeBron doesn't like he won't even say anything bad about Russ. I mean, I get that's his teammate, but like I don't know. I think he looks at Kyrie as like a younger brother. But I was
Basically.
even surprised he was that vocal because normally on stuff like this he's a little bit more quiet. But I
Well, yeah,
think
because he's
I
trying
think he
not to get
kind of had
himself
to because
killed.
he's LeBron. He's the face of the league. He had to pick a side. There was no like staying quiet because they would have just naturally assumed, oh, those two are friends. He's
Yeah.
trying to protect.
Well,
So like,
I don't knock him. A lot of people felt LeBron sold out
no,
by
no,
like
no, no,
by
no, no,
by
no,
basically throwing Kyrie under the bus. I don't
nah.
really I don't really because here's the thing
Nothing
too.
he said. Nothing he said. Like it was strictly facts.
Well,
It was
and
like
there's
strict.
not a single person on this planet that wouldn't have done what LeBron did. Like you
Well,
got like
yeah,
people forget like LeBron's got a family, kids, a business, a company, a brand,
multiple
a
businesses. Yeah,
school. He's got so much that he needs to protect and preserve that the last thing he needs is to say something stupid, even if he doesn't buy it. Like you got to, you know what I mean? Like, and I do believe he thinks like Kyrie should have done that thing, whatever. Like whether other people agree or disagree. Like I don't knock LeBron for saying that. Not just that, but like a lot of it was just general. Like he said what he said in the beginning,
yeah.
Kyrie Irving like that. But the rest of the conversation was just generally like I don't support this kind of behavior. I don't support this, this, and this.
Well,
And
yeah. He said
then
anybody that like hurts, But then
yeah,
he
hurts. Yeah,
specifically
any kind
said
of
then
group.
and what he did hurt.
Yeah,
And I don't necessarily think that like, and I do hear what you're saying, but like LeBron's one of those players like, and he's proven historically that like if he really truly doesn't like, he's not just gonna say what the media wants to hear.
yeah.
So like, I think that was just his honest opinion, and I was
Well,
like,
for LeBron to
I
just
respect it.
yeah. Well, for LeBron to just randomly like this happened like yesterday, I think. For LeBron to just randomly come out and just say, "Hey, I want to just basically say like, look, yeah, I don't agree with what happened, but one, these rules suck. which a lot of players are coming out and saying, like the Brooklyn Nets and their rules and stuff
Well,
are
yeah,
just
that
insane.
whole like meet with ministry
Yeah,
leader to do all like jump through
all
this
that stuff.
hoop and that hoop, and I'm just like,
Well,
I
and
don't like
people,
that.
another thing that I don't think people notice is that that Jaylen Brown came out against that too. And Jaylen Brown is the vice president of the Players Association. So is Kyrie Irving. So that is huge too.
Well, he
And
came out against the way that they were treating Kyrie, though, right?
yes,
Okay.
and the Players Association even said that we're not going to let them violate Kyrie's rights as a player. Like you're not going to do anything like about yeah, you want to suspend him, you have the right to suspend him. But they were like, we're not going to let you just make up rules. So
Well,
I'm
yeah,
so
like
I'm curious if the Brooklyn Nets are going to end up having to just throw that out and just bring Kyrie back, which kind of concerns me too because they might not even want to bring Kyrie back, but might have to so they don't get in
but
trouble
what
with
grounds do they have? Okay, so like what rules do they have to say like, okay, he can't come back because of this? Like what did he break? Like what in the
they're saying
contract did he like, you
they're
know what I
saying
mean?
that
Like
he broke rules like things detrimental to the organization. You know, basically they're trying to claim that he basically is gave hate speech. You know, like that's why like the media and everyone was labeling him a
do you
bigot.
really have a
Essentially.
case for that though? Like I don't like you know what I mean? Like how like it,
I mean, to the public perception, yes. But here's the thing: like, so they can suspend him for those 5 days, which is what I was talking about.
understand that
After the,
okay, yes, they can do
after
that.
those 5 days, they're not going to be. He's even if they don't pay him, we already saw in the Ben Simmons situation, which was far worse than what Kyrie is doing, right? Because Kyrie didn't make like Ben Simmons just basically told everybody to go f themselves, and I'm not showing up. And like when he did show up to practices, was completely disruptive. I mean, Ben Simmons was like purposely trying to sabotage stuff, and
Yeah.
he ended up taking them to court, and he still won and got his money back. So
Which was crazy by the way, but yeah.
yeah. But I mean, he's under like he has an obligation. Like,
Yeah.
and his argument was that like I was dealing with mental health and they weren't working with me. Like so that's that I mean it is a different situation, but we've
Yeah.
already seen on several occasions that like organizations trying not to pay players doesn't work out in their favor. So the Nets are going to have two choices. They're either going to have to buy out Kyrie Irving or they're going to have to play him. And if they play
Well,
him,
yeah, because you know
then they deserve
what
everything that they get.
yeah. I mean, but on the not playing and not paying, 9 times out of 10, the public eye is going to be with the player. It depends on what happened. You know what I mean? On this case of Kyrie, it could go one way or the other, just because it's Kyrie at this point. But you know what
Yeah.
I mean? So I just, yeah, yeah. They're it's a sticky situation.
It makes
Honestly,
no it makes no sense to just pay him to stay home. Because one, the Brooklyn Nets, they're winning right now without him. They look really
which
good without him.
which
Really good.
which I was gonna bring up next point. Yeah, that last game that they played, like
Dude, they since Vaughn took over as head coach, they're top 4 defensively in the league. So they're playing defense finally. They're scoring more points. They look like a completely different team
because you know
without
what that
Kyrie Irving.
is. It's a KD ran team. That's
Yes.
why, and that's truly why I think because I'm okay. So a lot of people always say that KD is not necessarily a leader. He can't necessarily put teams, on his back. I disagree. I disagree. I do agree that he has not fully had the chance to do something like that. Because you think about it, who is he playing with in OKC? He's playing with Russ. Russ was the primary decision maker. Who is he playing with for Golden State? You're playing with Steph, Clay, and Dre. You know what I mean? So it's like, who was he playing with when he got to Brooklyn? James Harden and like Kyrie Irving. Now he has his own team. So it's like, yes, you got Ben Simmons, but it's Ben Simmons. No disrespect, Ben. But KD is now the primary decision maker, and I love to see it. And I just honestly, I want to see what KD can do. And again, I know it's not KD's team, but like it's KD's team, and I think, yeah, I think they're
But
gonna start winning
that's what
some
I'm
games
saying.
for
Like,
sure.
but that's my point. Like, it makes no sense to bring Kyrie back, right? And like, and a lot of people like because I get comments all the time. People be like, "You just want Kyrie to be on the Lakers," and yes, I do. But two things can be correct. Like yes, I can want Kyrie on the Lakers, but I could also want the Brooklyn Nets to do the right thing because it doesn't make sense. Like people always act like, oh, you have to be one or the other. Like doesn't make like I can say like two facts can still be facts. Just because one reality is a reality doesn't mean that something else can't be a reality.
Yeah.
And like right now, all signs point to the Nets should not bring back Kyrie Irving. Will they? Maybe. Should they?
Well, at this
No.
point, there's probably too much. Like now, we don't know how Kyrie feels about the organization. I mean, rumor talks that he doesn't really want to be there in the first place. But we know the organization doesn't want him. So why are you going to bring him back? You know what I mean? Like, what's the point?
I mean, he's leaving sooner or later. He is. He's not sticking around for long. You know, like he's like they're gonna lose him at some point, whether it's this season.
Oh yeah, I'm not. Yeah,
yeah, or it's next season. So my thing is like, why not save your? And here's the thing, because if you're not going to trade him regardless, so you're going to be in the same boat regardless. Why not save yourself the headache, the money, and something else? Because if you pay him to sit at home, he's providing nothing. He's providing no value for you. But what he can provide,
well, your investment is just
more
going
of
to
a
waste
headache.
at that point. Yeah,
yeah. But what I'm saying is, what he can provide is more of a headache because all of his antics have all came from off the court stuff.
Yeah,
none of his antics are because of basketball related things. You know, all the things that he get controversy for, whether it's warranted or not. It's
well, of course. I mean, on the court, he's a normal. Yeah.
So the problem is that even if he's sitting at home and let's say he posts something on Twitter again that people don't like, guess who has to deal with that? The Brooklyn Nets.
Because he's still attached to the organization.
Yes, because he's still under your organization. So like it just will they bring him back? They might have to, because now the Players Association has stepped in and basically said, no, we're not doing this whole like Kyrie has to do 6 things type rule. So now that Adam Silver has came in, now that the Players Association has came in, they might be forced to play him. That doesn't mean that they're not going to get rid of him and trade him or something like that. But it just they might end up having to play him. Hey, look, if he doesn't play by Tuesday against the Kings, I don't think he plays another game for them. Because why? If you're going to bring him back, why wouldn't you bring him back the first game that he's eligible? Like why? You know,
yeah.
You know,
I mean, to figure things out, but then it's like, you know what I mean? Like,
so if you don't bring him back against the Lakers, which is the first game that he could come back technically, okay, fine. So you wanted to give him an extra couple days to dwell, sure. But now you have the Kings game, and you don't bring Kyrie back. It's like, okay, well now that's a 7-game suspension. Like, what are you gonna you gonna give him 10, 12, 14? Like, you might as well get rid of him, especially if you keep winning. Like if they end up beating the Lakers and they end up beating the Kings. Now they've won like 6 out of their last like 7 games without Kyrie Irving. Like, why would you want to bring Kyrie back? You've turned your season around. Like,
because at that point, I don't think it's about like he can't contribute on the court. I think if they bring him back and they start losing games again, it's just a controversy. That's all it is. Yeah. As a professional NBA player, it's hard to go out in the court and produce when all that is going around. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's too much.
No, I agree. But next thing is King says trade 80. Look, the problem is like there's just no way to do it this season. Like, because you're not going to get equal value for him. Like, he's still tied with Giannis for overall defensive efficiency in the league. Like, he's still giving you 24 a game. Like, you're not going to get that same production. It just doesn't make sense this year. But in the offseason, if you're the Lakers, I think you got to at least start listening to offers. Even if you don't trade them, at least start listening to offers. Completely agree with you, Tyler. I've noticed Russ and Davis have more chemistry on the court. Yeah, they've been the better duo. They really have. They've been really good. Can you give us your take on LeBron stagnating the offense with the ball holding, where he puts no pressure on the defense? I mean, the take is he shouldn't do that. It's just a low IQ play. I don't know why he does that.
Yeah,
I really don't. Like, he didn't. He started doing that last year because he never really did that. Like, he would hold the ball sometimes and kind of let the play unfold and then make a decision. But like midway point last season was when he really started like holding the ball and then just jacking up a 3 as a shot clock expired, which doesn't make sense. Now, if LeBron is hot, it does. right? If LeBron's shooting the lights out, it makes a lot of sense because you're basically just killing. It's essentially a football play, right? You see teams where they'll run the ball
Yeah.
like and slow the game down
Yeah. Yeah.
to kind of control the tempo of the game and stuff like that. That's kind of what LeBron's trying to do. But the problem is this season he's not making shots, and so when you do that, you completely ruin the flow of the offense, and you're bailing the defense out. And we've seen time and time again, every single time the ball moves and it doesn't stick, we have a elite offense. Like we've
Yeah,
had
well,
sorry, go ahead.
no, that's what I'm gonna say. Why, Mr. High IQ LeBron James? Why are you slowing the pace of the ball down? Like you just said, why are you slowing the pace of the ball down when you know we play better on a fast pace, move, screen? Like you know what I mean? Like I don't
Yeah.
understand that. Like
We're
he's
number
too
one in
smart.
pace, number one
Like
in fast break points. We're number like we are a fast young team,
we
and the
play
ball
better when
we
we're moving. Yes.
do every time we're winning. If you look at like the stat lines, we have like 24 assists on like 27 shot attempts. Like the two games we won,
Yeah.
we were like 75% in assists to field goal rate. Like
Yeah.
that's what you need to win. Um,
Like we're not the Rockets of James Harden. It's not like the slow down ISO
that
basketball. Like
solo, yeah.
exactly. Like
So that's another key
that's why the
point.
reason the Warriors are so successful. A lot of people don't
Well,
understand that.
so that's
And the
another key.
Spurs when they
Yeah,
won with Pop because what basketball was that all about? Moving the ball around,
sharing the
not the like
basketball.
the exactly sharing the basketball. The ball didn't really stick. Like you had Ginobili and Parker. Like it was constant like this all day long, and it was fast paced. Run, 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 run. And to your point, our team's young. That's what we can do.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like even if LeBron and AD can't necessarily keep up that consistent pace, we still have besides like Pat and we still have almost everybody on the team that is young, and that's all they're
yeah.
gonna do is just run up and down the court. You know what I mean?
Well, that was something I was going to bring up with the Nets too. Is that another reason the Nets are playing so well without Kyrie Irving is they're not running just ISOs like they were. Like
Yeah.
so, when they had Kyrie Irving, they were running a lot of you go
Yep.
between Durant and Kyrie. Well, now they're actually
And I
moving the
hate that
ball
style
more.
of basketball,
And
by the way. I hate that. I can't stand that style of basketball.
yeah,
Even
they
though
were
Kobe's one of my favorite players of all time,
the isolation. Yeah,
yeah, I can't stand it.
yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. That's the difference. Like before this, like little hiatus for Kyrie, they were top three in isolations. I don't remember they might have been number two, but they were up there in isolation plays, and now they're like in like middle of the pack because now they're not running as many ISOs, which helps. You know,
And I know KD runs a few, but it's not as many.
well,
And
I
would
mean,
you agree with?
when you have a guy like Kevin Durant, you need to run some ISOs. You know,
Well, yeah,
Kevin Durant's
no.
just such a great. He might be the greatest scorer ever. Like, so you
Yeah,
gotta,
because he could shoot over every like naturally
yeah, because
every
he's
single
7
defender
feet
except for
tall.
maybe like Giannis and like
Yeah,
Joker. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But would you agree with me if I like when I would say that Kobe championship in the '09 and '10, that was a rare. That was really rare, I think, because like they played a style of basketball that like you don't really see teams. You know what I mean? Like it's team sharing basketball that wins championships. You know what I mean? And that
Yeah, but those Lakers team, believe it or not, so in 2010, I believe Kobe averaged like 6 or 7 assists a game. Like it was one
I
of
believe
his
you're right.
high.
Yeah.
Like yeah, like the 2 years they won the championship, it was like some of his highest assist years. It was also a different game back then. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's
Um,
true.
Hang on, let me double check because I'm pretty sure he was up there as far as so yeah, so he was 28, 8, and 5. In this in the finals against the Celtics
Yeah.
in 2010. So yeah, and I believe for the regular season he was at like 6 assists or 5.5, like 5.5
So yeah,
assists, you know, or something like that.
for Kobe, that's high.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't see it. Just keeps bringing up the finals. Um, what was he for the year? Yeah, that's the finals again. Anyway, I'm pretty sure he was somewhere around there, like 5 or
Yeah.
6 assists, and yeah. So I mean, and like I said, it was just a different game back then. It's
Yeah.
not the same game it was now. If the Lakers do end up trading LeBron and or AD, what team do you guys see being interested in trading from? See, I think a lot of teams would take Anthony Davis. I don't know. I can't think of one team that would take LeBron James.
Good point. Good point.
Like, I really don't. And it's not that LeBron isn't great. It's just next season, because we can't trade him this season. Next season, he's going to be 39 years old. He's putting up great numbers, but he's showing that he can't be the number one guy anymore. So, and he's not going to want to go to like a Sacramento or something like that where it's a rebuilding team. He's going to want to go to a contending team. What contending team is going to
that? He
give
wants
up?
to stay in LA. He's not leaving LA.
Like, I don't think he's going to leave LA either. But like, what contending team is going to give up real assets for LeBron James? Like, if you're Cleveland, name me 2 players you would trade for LeBron James. That won't be a free agent next year. You're not trading Mitchell. You're not trading Mobley. You're not trading Allen. You're not trading Garland. You're not trading, like, who are you trading?
Well, none of your starting 5, and at that point, if you're trading the role guys from the bench, it's not gonna.
That's what I said. Like, they don't have, like, and then after Kevin Love is going to be an expire, is not going to be on the team next year. Same thing with why am I blanking on his name? Their other small forward. Why am I blanking on his name? Anyway, like, they have like 3 or 4 guys that are going to be not on the team next year. So Cleveland makes no sense to trade for LeBron James. Miami, if you're the Lakers, who on Miami would you want other than Tyler Hero? Ooh, let's go. That's the way to start off a game. Walker with the slam. Walker's going to have a big game tonight. Watch. But yeah, I mean, like, that's my problem. Is like, I think a lot of teams would trade for Anthony Davis because he's still young. He's still, like I said, defensive player of the year right now. And then he's still a guy that can get you 20, 24, 24 to 25 points a game. Like, I think a lot of teams would take AD for the right price, but I don't know how many teams would actually trade for LeBron.
No, because and
okay.
he's at a weird point in his career because it's just like he's at the point where, like, he's LeBron, so you still gotta change a bunch of stuff. You gotta match your organization to fit him, but you also too, like, he's just not that. He's not him anymore. I hate to say it, but like, I think we're reaching the era where it's like, I mean,
he's 38 years old. He's gonna have some, lack of consistencies. But like I said, it's not his skill set that seems to be the problem this year, though. It's his decision making that seems to be a problem. And I don't know.
That's my thing. It's a direct result of each other. Like, I think the decision making is getting faltered because his skills are diminishing.
Because he doesn't have the skills to do what he needs to do. Maybe. I mean, that's definitely a possibility. Like, you just threw it away again. You bum. None slump is pure mental. LA is so toxic players. I just forget how to hoop. I mean, that could be a possibility. You see so many players just like forget how to play basketball. I went to work at Fraser Center, Atlanta, Georgia. DeMarcus pushed me on the floor. Really?
Wait, what? Why?
What's going on, Austin? I appreciate you being here. Danny Ainge trying to win a championship at this point. I know, I might as well. The problem is, like I said, they're always going to be a middle of the pack team now because like they're going to be really good. They're going to be a team for probably the next like 3 to 4 years. They're probably going to be like a top, 3 to 5 team in the West every year. And they're going to be a first or second round exit every year.
Yeah.
Unless some star becomes available that they could get for like relatively cheap without having to like blow up their roster. Like, because, and that's the problem. And that's why I have an issue with what Utah did. Like, because so many people are like, oh, like Utah's winning. And I'm like, I understand that, but that wasn't the point. The point wasn't to trade and blow up your Utah team that was a middle of the pack team to then create another middle of the pack Utah team.
Or even a better team, actually.
I mean, yes, slightly, but they're still not a contender. But what I'm saying is that, like, they basically went and got rid of Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, Bojan Bogdanovic, and we're like, okay, we don't want to be a middle of the pack team. We're a first or second round exit every single year with this team. Let's go rebuild and create a team that maybe can contend in the future. And instead, they built another first or second round exit team. So it's like it just so now instead of being eliminated in the first round every year, maybe they get eliminated in the second round every year. Like, like maybe you get a year or two where like Portland made it to like the Western Finals. Like maybe that happens, but
yeah, right. I guarantee Utah's in the conference.
it was probably insanely like it was probably like something insane like 100-1. Like compared to now. Like now it's probably like 10-1 or something crazy. Lakers need Kyrie, but if I were Kyrie, I wouldn't go to them. I think another team should try and sign him, but it's doubtful. Yeah, I just don't see another team that would want him. I think there's a lot of teams that could really use that. Like Miami could really use Kyrie Irving. I just don't think Miami would do that. And I think Jimmy Butler, Udonis Haslem, and Pat Riley would probably kill Kyrie Irving. Like they would lose their shit. Like because he's not really a Miami. Oh, you said the same thing. Miami should try to sign Kyrie. Yeah. I just don't see them doing it. I don't see him. I don't see him taking a pay cut. I mean, Kyrie's if he gets bought out, he's going to get a minimum contract anywhere. It'll be the following year, which Miami wouldn't be able to pay him. So basically, he'd be a rental for Miami. At least the Lakers, they could get him they could sign him again for multi years. Lakers city jerseys are clean. They are clean. With the way Brooklyn is playing, I think their coach can bring out Billy Simmons more than Nash could. I think so too. He's just getting back into the swing of things, and he already looks more comfortable out there. I'm not giving up Simmons yet, but right now it's looking like Russell Wilson in the NBA. Yeah, Simmons is having a rough year. If anything, Jimmy would.
Man, leave Russell alone, man. Russell is him.
I know Russell Wilson, man. That dude. I don't know what happened to him. He just like forgot how to play football. LeBron back to Miami makes sense, but I don't see the trade that works. I don't either. That's the problem. Like because Lakers would literally not want anybody but Tyler Hero. Like why would you want Kyle? Like if you're getting rid of LeBron, why would you want Lowry? Why would you want Duncan Robinson? Like if you could trade LeBron for like Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero, maybe you
it's just gonna slow it's just gonna slow their offense down though at this point. You know what I mean?
But that's the thing. Is there a healthy part on AD's body? I mean, maybe is left pinky toe.
His left pinky toe. We're gonna go with that.
His left pinky toe. Do you think Lakers are targeting in free agency besides Kyrie? Probably nobody because there aren't really anybody. Like it's just mid-tier guys. Like maybe Gary Trent Jr. Come on, we need that. Maybe Gary Trent Jr. and if they don't trade for Miles Turner, maybe Miles Turner. Like that's the thing. Like there's a lot of guys next season that they could probably trade for right now. That you could sign for free next year, but why not try to improve your team now and see if you can make them work with Anthony Davis? Because I mean, at least worst case scenario, you go get those guys, and if it works and you don't win, at least you had a year of chemistry already built. Right. And you have benefits, you have bird rights, you go over so you can get a little more work done to make a better roster, stuff like that. But I don't know. It's
would you pick up Kevin Love?
In the offseason for a couple million, I wouldn't pay him like 10+ million. I think there's a team that would probably pay him like 10 million a year. But I wouldn't. Like if we could get Kevin Love for like 5 million a year, I would do it. Because he's great. He's became elite 3-point shooting.
Well, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. He's elite. Yeah, I honestly think he's playing well. I'm pretty sure he's playing better than he was when they won a championship that year in Cleveland. But no, I don't know. I feel like Kevin Love would be a great addition to this team without LeBron, if that makes sense.
I mean, to the team we got right now, yeah, he'd be fantastic.
Well, but without LeBron, I mean, it would help because of the chemistry and everything. But I think he plays. Well, I think statistically, he plays better without LeBron. Actually,
yeah. I will never leave Russ alone. He abandoned my Seahawks, and now they're thriving, Super Bowl bound, maybe.
Look, you have to understand, Austin, that that's still Russell Wilson we're talking about. He just look. It's kind of like Russ is like Russ, right? So Wilson is and I'm not a Seahawks fan, but I have to defend this man. Like Russ is like Russ, you know what I mean? Like how Westbrook kind of started out. Just give him a second watch. He can come back. He's gonna be balling out.
like Blecka said one time, it's a rough year for people named Russell. Do this is the worst big three of all time. No, I wouldn't say the worst big three of all time. But I think one, it's roster. Two, it's timing. You know, like if this was like Russ, LeBron, and Davis like 5 years ago, I think we'd be the best team in the league right now.
We made a video on that. Go check it out.
Yeah, because LeBron was like a completely different LeBron James. He actually could control games, dominate games, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis was, arguably, in the conversation for like potentially best player in the league, 5 years ago. And
I know AD was where Giannis is right now. Like how they talk about Giannis right now, that's what AD was.
Yeah, AD. So no, I think it's gonna be a while. I think it would have been a while, like if it was back then. Even if the Jazz is a good team, I still don't think it could be any kind of playoff threat with literally no superstars. I mean, how many teams have won without a superstar? Probably not many, if any. Yeah, I mean that's the thing is that like I had somebody in like the comment section of one of my videos that were like, "Oh, this team is this, that, and the other, blah blah blah." Like they're winning because they don't have a superstar, which I do think because they don't have Donovan. I don't think Donovan Mitchell's a superstar, but I think people throw superstar around too lightly. The difference between this team is that they're not reliant on just one player like they were, and I think that helps. But the problem is that when you get into the playoffs and you have a lot of moments where you really need a guy to close out games, take over games, be that like go-to guy, and they don't have that. And you're not going to – we've seen time and time again, superstars are what eventually wins you the championship. So
I wonder like historically, has there ever been a team that has won the championship without like it's just a bunch of good role players? Like, has there ever been a team? I don't think so.
I mean, without a superstar, yes. Like Detroit won. And what was 2004?
Wait, you're not talking about like the bad boy. Oh, was you? No,
I'm talking about like 2004. Like they didn't have like they had a bunch. They had like 3 or 4 all-stars. They didn't have like any superstars. You had like a Rip Hamilton. You had Chauncey Billups, Rasheed Wallace.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I use them like I think 2 or 3 Hall of Famers. But like that's my point. But like, has there ever been like a team that has run without like like let me say like a bunch of like I don't know. Give me a player that is
like
really
a bunch
good.
Of, like the Lakers without like LeBron James and Anthony Davis? No, that's never happened.
Or like Russ, yeah.
Like
or Russ, or even a Pat. Like I just wonder if there's even been a team
not like without like no. Most I mean, if you look at like the history of the NBA,
of Austin Reeves,
most teams that have won have been super teams. Like that's why I think it's fun. Like people always like, oh, like super teams are dying and blah blah blah. And I'm like, I don't know if we're watching the same NBA. Because like the Warriors just won and they're a super team. Like they're still a super team. Like plus the Warriors have dominated the last 10 years and they were.
Do you consider the Warriors a super team?
Huh?
Do you consider the Warriors a super team?
Yeah, absolutely. They have
Steph and Clay?
Steph, Clay, Draymond. I mean, look, you're talking about.
I can't put Dre in that no more.
You're talking about a legit big three that's been around forever. Like that have been the same 3 guys. Like you're talking like not saying that they're the same players, but you're talking like Pippen, Rodman, and Jordan, right? Like 3 guys that have been there for years on the same team. Like you know what I mean?
That's
like
fair.
It's the chemistry, it's the names, it's the like what each one does to that thing. And then when you added Kevin Durant, they were literally unbeatable. Like it took literally the entire team falling apart for them to win. And now you have Wiggins, you have Draymond, you have Steph, you have Clay, you have Poole, who turned out to be a third splash. But I mean, yes, they are a super team. Like,
I mean, okay, I guess
super team wins every year.
No, that makes sense. I just see in my head the super team. Okay, but look, you got a top 50 player in Steph, but then that's it. There's no. I'm not going to go as far as say Clay is a top 50 player of all time. I mean, I don't know if I can make it argument.
So look at it like this.
Because Clay is the second best player on that team. Maybe not right now because he's hurt.
They have 3 top 75 players on their team all the time.
Okay, Okay, that's
So
okay. You can make you can make an
so
argument for that.
I think that's super team. Like,
Yeah,
how many?
that's fair.
I mean, almost every team that's ever won a championship have had 3 of those top 75 guys on their team. Like the
That's
Celtics,
fair.
the Lakers,
Yeah.
multiple years, the Celtics multiple years. I mean, like people are always like, oh, super teams are dead, they're dying. Like the Warriors, the Heat, the Cavs. Like, look at the last few years. Like, what team hasn't won without a super team? Like LeBron and Anthony Davis won, right? But you're talking at that point 2 top 5 players in the league.
Yeah.
In a time where there like wasn't really anyone else with that, right? And then you had a bunch of just like really great role players that fit perfectly. You had, the Lakers getting like a month and a half off or whatever. That I'm sure that helped. All of those, like there were factors that went into that.
Yeah.
Then on top of that, you have, before that, you had the Cavs, the Warriors, the Warriors, the Warriors, the Warriors, the Warriors. And then before that, you had Miami. And then before that, you had the Lakers and the Celtics. Yeah. And then, and then the year that Toronto won.
Dallas was sprinkled in there, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the year Toronto won, they wouldn't have won that championship if Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Steph Curry all didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
Like the Warriors would have won another one. And then Giannis won, but again.
Yeah, there we go. There's one.
Yes,
there's
but
one.
Again, circumstances. Like, half of the Eastern Conference got hurt, and that really helped.
Yeah.
Right? And then they got to the NBA Finals. They played a Suns team that just wasn't as equally matched, which, to be fair, the Suns had a lot of benefits too. Like, it's there's a big thing to it. Like, are there anomalies? Yes, sure, of course. But
that Spurs team, we did that Spurs team, they won with Pop and Duncan, and
that was a super team.
Yeah. See,
you had arguably, if not the greatest power forward of all time. You have like arguably a top 20 point guard all time. You had arguably a top 20 shooting guard all time.
Wait, you're putting Tony Parker in the top 20?
Name me 15 point guards that are better than Tony Parker.
15. I could probably give you 10. I don't think I can give you.
Exactly. You know why? Because he's a top 20 point guard. Like, I mean, if you're talking about just like, I'm talking about pure point guards. I'm not talking about like, like the high, like James Harden is a shooting guard, but he plays point guard sometimes, stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Because I was about to say, I can give you.
Even if you do add James Harden, he's still a top 20 point. I mean, you have like Magic, Jerry, Isaiah, no particular order, right? Let's say
Steph, if we're gonna,
so
like
Steph,
again,
by the time you get to like number 10, like you're running out of names to pick up. Like Tony Parker might be top 15 if we're being honest, but I would say
now Ginobili was definitely a top 20.
He might be a top 20 shooting guard all time.
Yeah, I would easily put him in that conversation.
Yeah, like and anybody that thinks otherwise, you got to keep in mind Tony Parker came off the bench. Like if he would have started, he probably would have been, James Harden before James Harden. Like he was kind enough to come out the way. Not just that, but you got to remember, in some of those championships, they had David Robinson, who might be a top like 10 center of all time.
Yeah,
like you know what I mean. Like they've had stars. I mean, they had like Bruce Bowen. You had like not Richard Jefferson. Why am I blanking on his name? Steven Jackson. You had, you had just so many guys, so many talented guys on that team. Max Christie's really stepped up lately too. Speaking of guys that have stepped up, Max Christie just knocked down a big shot, but he's stepped up a lot too. He's been hitting pretty nice lately too.
We need him though too. We
do absolutely. But why you got that little bounce? But anyway, I'm saying like most teams that have won a championship were all super teams. Like it just was. That's just the reality of it. Numbers trash. Gino Gray was the defense coach. He's still garbage. Yeah. Jake has a YouTube channel. No, he does not have a YouTube channel yet.
That was random. No, not yet.
You get asked that like once a stream.
Right.
Seahawks country, let's fly. Do you think Kings made the right choice picking Keegan Murray over Jaden Ivey? Given what the Kings need, yes. Because they have like Fox, and I think Jaden Ivey's going to end up being like that point guard, shooting guard duo. Keegan Murray looks like he might be a guy that's just a bucket. Like he looks like he might be a guy that just go get you a bucket. Like, so I don't mind them. I don't think it was a mistake. In hindsight, looking back, I mean, they've both have been pretty solid. Jaden Ivey's stood out more, definitely. But no, I think given what the team is right now for the Kings, Keegan Murray made more sense. But if it was me, honestly, I would have drafted Jaden Ivey and I would have traded De'Aaron Fox. That's just me. But personally, I think Keegan was the right choice, even on draft night. They took the best. Yes, Austin said it perfectly. Best fit, and now he's playing great. Yes, agree. Warriors got to pick it up. It's their title to lose. Yeah, I think so too. Wiggins is great as well. Agreed. Anthony Davis' body language is horrible. Yeah, well, I mean, tonight he's sick. He wasn't even supposed to play.
Yeah, he looks really tired tonight.
Yeah, he wasn't even supposed to play tonight. He's got that like little bug or whatever that's going on. They also had all-star starters. Not saying I agree with that, but he was an all-star starter, Andrew Wiggins. So it's not insane to call them a super team. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they were. I wish we could see the Golden State Warriors would look like what the physical league with Jordan and friends went through. Oh, I would love to see that too. I wonder.
I will say though, I think they still would have won. I just think that the Warriors are about one thing, identity, and just finding a way to get it done.
You know what would have helped Steph a lot?
Yeah.
Is the hand check rule.
Oh, yeah.
Because he could have just moved people. I mean, he would have had to bulk up and get stronger.
Well, that's what he does now. I know you watched him in the finals. Like, that's what he does now. Like, I don't know if you're watching, but like there was a few times where like he had Tatum on him or whatever. He would just like get off me really quick and just, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, imagine if like Steph just got a little, not much, just strong enough to like just push somebody out of the way and use their momentum against them. Because you could literally do. I mean, one of the most iconic shots ever that Jordan had would be an offensive foul today, like where he literally just pushes the guy to the side and pulls up.
I love that shot.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, some of the guys like Steph and Clay would have a lot of benefits that they wouldn't have had back then. It would have been more physical, but it's not like the two of them really drive much. Draymond punch cursed the team. Yeah, it looks like it. Ginobili, real 20.
But they look good on the court, though. They're vibing on the court. I mean, they could be putting on a show, but I mean, you know what I mean?
I think the problem is just
they run plays with each other all the time, assists to each other all the time. Like I watch it, it's genuine after that handshake or whatever. It doesn't look fake. It doesn't look like tension, but I mean,
I just think that it sucked the air out of the room, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I think they're coming off a championship. You got this high. You're feeling good. You're like, let's go run it back. Let's go get this. Let's go get it again. And then that happens, and it just I mean, now it just basically took your high away. It's like being high and the cops show up. Like that high just immediately goes away. You're like, oh man. I thought I heard Jake say he made a video on something. That is why I asked.
Oh no. Okay, so we were talking about the AD, Russ, and Anthony Davis 5 years ago, and there's a video on this channel about that.
Yeah. So Jake makes all the clips and stuff for this channel. So that's probably what he means. Yeah. So Jake handles all the clips. So like all the videos you see other than live streams, Jake handles. I feel like either Giannis or Luka will be MVP this year. I think so too. I don't know. You have a real case for Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell's playing like the best player on the planet right now. Like, so I don't know. Monk is in. I wish he just took the mid-level exception, but I understand taking that big bag. I also have loved to see him, Lonnie, and I'm not too mad. Yeah, Lonnie's been great for us, but yeah, I mean, I wish we could have kept Malik Monk, but Malik Monk was always like, he was always just like a rental for us, is what he always was. That's always what he was going to be. But like I said, all right. Well, we got to the end of the chat. Any last words before we skate on out of here? Anything else you got? Anything else you want to say to anybody?
No, Blucka. Maybe soon. I'll have a channel.
But I'd like to get a channel at some point. We'll figure it out. We'll figure something out. But I want the Nuggets to win the title. Bubble Murray will make a comeback. Dude, Bubble Murray was insane. Like that dude was insane. But anyway, we're gonna get on out of here. Of course, as always, I will do the post-game show after this game over on As It Stands Lakers. So don't miss that. I hope to see all of you over there for that. So whenever this game's over, look out for that. I know some people like Snorlax has told me he doesn't get the notification sometimes. So just know when the game's over, I'll be live over there. Usually it's immediately. So, but anyway, again, appreciate all of you. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, all of that jazz. We